all cover letters. I don't think many hiring managers actually read them. Everybody believes that they can recruit. Data can become this bridge to
Yeah, that's it. Thank you. Which one?
If you sink us, it's over.
Yeah? Okay.
Because you need to twist it.
Oh my god. Don't get completely panicked.
Hey, my name is Daria. I'm talent acquisition manager at Inatera. I'm leading talent acquisition efforts, building talent acquisition strategy, and work on recruitment in deep tech. Very excited for every vlog today and have a chat with Alisher.
Quickly, AJ, you're gonna crash!
I'm gonna crash in a moment.
AJ, what's happening?
I'm trying to.
How come we're on a boat today?
I think it's amazing weather. It's Amsterdam, and goddamn, if it's a good weather in Amsterdam, you have to take a boat. That's it. You're not a
boat.
I'm on a boat. I'm on a boat. Everybody look at me 'cause I'm sailing on a boat.
So I think all of that, all the things that I do, let's say outside of recruitment, really helps in recruitment as well, right? Storytelling is very important when we present a company to a candidate, for example.
Okay.
Right. Singing and performance also helping to, be comfortable with pitching something on an event or, maybe as well to a candidate. So I consider the skills complementary to the job that I do during the day.
And how you are different from all the recruiters out there? Because you have a bit of the different background, right?
Yeah, well...
What is your superpower?
What is my superpower? That's a good question. I think for me, what always have been super helpful and what I think have been a major success factor
Okay.
is that I always try to understand what the person does, right? So what the job is, what the person does, and really, try to put myself into their shoes.
Okay.
So, and well, back at the time when I only was starting in my recruitment career, or where I was in the beginning of my journey, I learned a little bit of JavaScript and HTML to actually...
You're a coder as well.
Well, I would not call myself a coder.
What you created, tell me.
Well, I learned a little bit of JavaScript and HTML and I created a timer. I was so proud of myself.
That's cool.
Oh my God.
Okay.
Yeah.
Back in the days, it was super hard.
It was super hard, yeah. I had to really learn. I mean, nowadays, of course, with AI, you can vibe code. You don't have to know much about that, and you can create very cool stuff.
Yeah. Okay, so you're curious. I see now. So curiosity was always and is always there.
Yep. Curiosity. I think, curiosity indeed is also a key point to be successful in recruitment. We meet with so many different people, and it is very important to try to connect. So I think curiosity generally helps not only in recruitment, but just in your life. That's how you connect. That's how you learn something new. That's how you learn about someone, and build this connection, which is really important.
I keep hearing that, especially from the recruitment audience, that the curiosity is basically the main skill or the quality you need to have in order to be successful in this career.
Yeah, I agree. I mirror that. Sometimes in recruitment you have to juggle a lot of unknowns.
Okay.
One way or another way, right? There's always not enough clarity might be about the job itself or skill, right? Sometimes you invent the job on the go because you've seen a good candidate. So this boldness really help in ambiguity. So when you're not in control, but you can control things that in your control. So that to this day helps me, right? Or sometimes with presentations or reporting. This boldness also helps to keep things together.
Not every recruiter is bold enough.
No.
Okay. Going to that point, how is different recruitment in the previous company you had, Mobiquity, from the Inaterra?
Yeah.
Because Inaterra is something special, right?
Yes.
Deep tech, semiconductors.
Yes, Inaterra is very, very special. Well, for a start, I could say that the type of roles I'm working right now is way different, right?
Okay.
So, different skill set, different level of technical depth, to extent, different market, very challenging market, especially, and for some roles, it's really, really niche. Take RISC-V CPU digital designer.
What is this? RISC-V.
RISC-V.
Digital?
Yes. RISC-V digital design engineer.
Wow, okay, this is the first time I hear that even that role exists, okay.
Yeah.
And how you're
so-
searching for those people?
Well, sourcing is a crucial and big part of our daily job, right? So
Okay.
there are of course tools that we use. LinkedIn is one of it, but we try to also play around with different forums and with different communities, or
Okay.
let's say Reddit. We sometimes source on Reddit in specific threads.
Yeah.
So I would not say that maybe methodology itself gonna be like very different. It just specific skills, right? And specific target audience that we need to target through sourcing.
Okay. But then exactly the sources can be different, right? You
Yeah.
need to go to all the special places to find those
Yes,
people.
yes. We actually tried Avery
Oh, really?
the other day.
Okay.
Yes.
How was it? It's a quick promo. No kidding. How was it?
Yeah. No, I like the tool. I like guys what you are trying to build and building quite successfully. And I think for technical recruitment and specifically for us for deep tech for some of the roles, it actually gave a really, really good sourcing pool, talent pool for us to find these people.
Daria,
Okay.
we already touched a bit about the experience in the previous country, but also here in the new one.
Yep.
And we said that, okay, this is not a big difference. Does it mean that anyone who is actually now sitting in... Okay,
It's
we're
alright?
good? Does it mean that the talent acquisition person who is actually sitting somewhere in Moscow or Peter, they can do the same job here in Amsterdam, and that's not anyhow different?
There are some complications, of course. I mean, some challenges, right?
Can you tell me about this more?
Yes. By the end of the day, what I strongly believe is how well equipped you are with tools, right? And which tools you are educating yourself and looking for to help you to recruit, source people for the roles you're hiring for. If you would ask me now whether there is a possibility for a person right now sitting in Moscow or St. Petersburg to be able to hire in Europe right now, sitting in Russia, no, I would say no. But well, as well as of course, because many tools right now just simply blocked in Russia, right? You can't just get an access to.
But in terms of the capability and the skills,
Yes, in terms of
is it something,
capability and skills, if
they can do the same job.
if you're curious enough, if you educate yourself, because I do believe industry is moving, right? Technology is moving.
Okay.
So it is very crucial to stay at least close to what is happening and know what is happening. So in terms of capabilities, sure. In terms of accesses, it's a different story, but indeed, if you hiring Java engineer in Russia or hiring Java engineer in Portugal probably would be more or less the same, right? So
Okay.
then, of course, There's language, which is also important, right? In Europe, let's say in UK, US, it is important to know the language. So that's one of the aspects of it. But yeah, just one more time, right? Capabilities, yes. Tools, yes. So practices, sourcing, surely yes. Boolean search is everywhere. Boolean search, right? There's operators that you use. If you know them, you can find person anywhere.
Okay.
That's what I believe.
That's it. It's good to know that everybody has a chance, right?
Yeah, indeed.
Okay. And when it comes to the recruitment itself, what do you think the most bullshit thing about recruitment? Everybody believes in it, but you think it's a bullshit.
Right. Everybody believes in. Oh yeah. Well, everybody believes that they can recruit.
Okay. That's a good one. Tell me more about it.
You know, it might seem that recruitment is easy job, and that everybody can do that. I disagree with this point of view, as simply as there are so many layers in the job, in the specialty, that not everyone can know aspects of it, right? So there is, of course, things like proper intake, right? So say Java engineer, what does it mean, right? So hiring manager would come to me tomorrow and say, I need a Java engineer. Okay, which specific language, frameworks we're looking for? Is there legacy involved? Is there, which team specifically, right? What application? Is it financial application? Is it, I don't know, web application? Is it something else? Yeah, version of it. So there is like many layers inside it that if somebody who have not worked before would go, probably get lost, right?
Okay. So then there is a difference between the recruiter and the recruiter. So even now, for example, you are more talking about the technical recruiters who needs to understand all of the things, okay?
Yeah. So same for me, right? So I've been in technical recruitment for many years, but I still sometimes struggle, right? So, and I sometimes struggle with non-engineering roles because some non-engineering roles might be very complex as well and require certain level of expertise or knowledge on it, right? So yeah, every job would be requiring some research on, right? So that also would include talent mapping, right? Where exactly to find? Is it aligned with general strategy of the company? Which countries we're hiring for, which countries we're not hiring for? Then, of course, there is another layer of salaries, right? And expectations generally, and what market offer for specific job. Sometimes there's also cultural differences, right? American market going to be very different, super fast-paced, super aggressive compared to market in the Netherlands, which would be more relaxing, a little bit slower, processes would take longer, right? So all these aspects are, piling up. So when somebody says, yeah, well, this is an easy job.
No, it's not easy.
No.
Okay. And what do you think about the industry itself? What is the thing that all the recruiters are doing and they think that it's important, but you think it's pointless?
We know all cover letters.
Cover letters, yes.
I don't think, at least in my experience, that many hiring managers or many hiring teams actually read them.
Even though all the candidates out there, they're writing, they're putting enough time, no one reads it.
No. I think this is pointless. And
it's painful to know.
It's also, yeah. Yeah, so this is a little bit controversial, I know, right? But it also depends on how you would look at it. As a candidate, you obviously want to get the job as much as possible. So you put a lot of effort into putting things into applications. Sometimes there's horrible systems which requires you to get a specifically logging for this specific application, which you might never use ever.
Exactly.
And then you write a page or 2 pages of cover letters, which in my practice, honestly, maybe 5% of all hiring managers and hiring teams would read them. So yeah, I can't advise and say like don't write this cover letters anymore, because it might be this one lucky cover letter that actually would be read by hiring team and would put another point to the weight of actually proceeding to the hiring process. But
based on your experience, you don't
Yeah.
see that a lot of hiring teams are reading them.
yeah.
Okay. Hey, I think we almost I think now we need to go left, right? Because this is the Prinsengracht. And can we go left? That's my question.
Yes.
No one is there?
And I think it's mandatory to go left.
Exactly. Okay.
But yeah, this is Princeton.
That's it. You wanna?
You can't go there.
No, we don't have to. You wanna have a house in Prinsengracht or Keizergracht? No. I think it's a cool place to have a house.
Probably it looks beautiful, for sure.
Big windows,
Do you want to have a house here?
something like a 300 square meters. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nah, maybe in the. You know what? Maybe in the Herrengracht,
Yeah.
because that is actually a cool place to have a house, but they're super expensive.
Yeah.
Okay,
Prices on property. Yeah.
Daria, what do you want to touch more?
What do I want to touch more?
Is there anything I didn't ask you, but
I would love to talk about maybe leveraging the data and generally data approach. If you have anything in mind on that, I think data can. Data is a bridge to leadership to understand more about how recruitment works, the effectiveness, but also, sometimes you need to justify things. It might be tools, it might be systems, it might be.
shall I ask you that question then?
Yeah, we can. Yeah.
Daria, how data is important in the job you're doing today?
I'm glad that you asked that.
Thank you very much for giving a hint.
I'm a strong believer in data and in leveraging the data in recruitment, but generally in HR.
Okay.
Data can become this bridge to leadership, to the business, to justify and help with certain decisions, right?
Okay.
Example of it would be, let's say, talent mapping, right?
Okay.
Let's say we, as a company, at a certain point, we gathered and we want to see whether we want to open an office somewhere, or an entity somewhere, to help the company continue growing, give us access to a certain talent pool, so that we can continue growing.
Yeah.
A crucial point would be this research of actually trying to see whether this specific country has a talent pool for that, right? That we actually can hire people there,
Okay.
which also would lead us into expectations of the market, where we are in terms of salary, whether there needs to be adjustments,
Okay.
what packages, right, to attract the talent. It will be very crucial to set up a full package, right, so the offer would be competitive on the market that you're going to. Effectiveness of the process, right? How much days it takes to fill the role. So time to hire, time to fill, right? One of the key metrics that we can measure in recruitment. So all of that shows whether we need to pivot, right? And the more data you have at the early stages you start any hiring, you can always navigate and make these shifts as needed, right? Maybe there is needed drop and some change in requirements, right? So how would you justify that? You would look into the data, right? You would look into, okay, we interviewed, 50 candidates. None of them have been successful. This were interview feedbacks, let's say, and this, maybe we should drop one of the requirements to help us to hire, right?
What else you can do with data? Talent mapping is a good example. I love it.
Yeah.
Okay.
We can also measure, I mean, many things actually. We can measure, let's say if we talk about broader, right? So retention, attrition, so we can see this aspect of how it is internally, right? We can use data also for performance and employee satisfaction, right? It's also very, very important data to leverage, right, to see how effective we are. Or let's say, again, we want to implement something, maybe a new tool or a new system. There is some data involved, whether it's effective or not, right? What are the past cases? And data is available for us to make a decision. Workforce planning, oh my God, workforce planning.
Yeah, that is the most important part. Okay, let's use it for the workforce planning.
Yes.
How you would do that?
I have this big idea and a project that I've been sitting where we would break down the org to specific skills, right?
Okay.
So we would break it down and we would say that digital design engineer has to have ASIC skills, system Verilog experience, risk 5, blah 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 blah. Or take any other job, right?
Is it our thingy? Yeah?
Prinsengracht.
We are in the Prinsengracht, but is it the street we need now? What is the name of that street? Do we know?
That we want to turn?
No, we don't need that one.
Egelantiersgracht.
My co-pilot, let's go. We don't need this one.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you would break it down by team, by department. We assign, let's say, scarcity in terms of how hard it is to hire, or if it is easy to hire, and then we can assign per job family, per specific job. We assign the, how can I say, the proficiency thing, right? The capability, let's say from 1 to 5. Then, so once we have all this data, we can look into our teams and we can see which skills are present in the team and which skills are still missing. So the skill gap analysis. Based on the skill gap analysis and business goals that we have as an organization, we can predictively try to analyze which skills we're gonna need in 1 year, in 2 years, in 3 years, in 4 years. And this way, this is a huge tool, amazing tool, that can be very helpful in trying to predict, okay, how that would look like. I think this is amazing.
This is amazing. And this is what we're building as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
what is this? Do you know that place? It is Anna Frank House.
Right.
Yes, we are here.
Yay! 60 days.
Yeah.
Brought it down by that. Then
60 days, 60. Wow.
No, 360.
That's impossible.
You mean the role
Wow.
was not closing for a year
man.
before I joined, and
This is so bad.
it was really, really bad. So
Now, what is the time to hire?
for a very hard roles, it might be up to 120 days, but we on average at about 90 to 80 days.
But
No,
then-
time to fill. Sorry, time to fill.
Time to fill,
Time
yes.
to hire, we're keeping it below 50 days.
But that's good, given the fact that you're in the deep tech and it's not easy to find the people there.
Yes.
Amazing job. Okay. Daria, what would be the piece of advice for the young recruiters?
Piece of advice. All right. Be curious. Be bold.
Yeah.
Always learn. Always learn from hiring managers and candidates. I think they are the greatest source of everything that you might ever need as a recruiter in terms of, the valuable information on the market, on the job itself, that could populate, your own, let's say, internal database of, things that are important, which companies hire whom, which skills, right? So I think again, data, right? We're coming to my favorite topic of data. Yeah, but also don't be afraid to ask questions. I think that also helped me a lot on my way.
Oh, the game. We almost forgot. Rock, paper, scissors.
Okay.
If you're gonna win, you will get a branded merch from our side.
1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
Okay, you're getting back. You're getting back. Okay, I like it.
1, 2, 3. No!
Thank you very much.
Okay, it
Daria.
was fair.
But the merch will come anyways.
Okay.
Thank you very much, everyone. I hope you enjoyed it. Ciao, ciao.